a $1 million contract for a murder that was given the okay by your FBI handler. Mm-hmm. Is this true?
Yeah, it's like I said, I was going to do the hit on Mikey Knows, but
who's Mikey Knows?
Mikey Mancuso is the head of is the boss of the Banana crime family right now. He wouldn't have been the boss though if the hit would have been carried out.
Oh, so what year was this?
This was before 2005, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whack a boss.
He wasn't a boss then.
He was a captain?
He was an acting boss at the time. And so Dominic and him had a lot of problems between each other. And I guess supposedly Mikey liked me for some reason, and I think I could have got close to him, but I think maybe Dominic might have been able to do the shooting. I don't know. We had talked about it a little bit, but that was going to be my introduction into the family, and I was going to be a made man.
Wow.
Yep.
Were you prepared to do that?
Yes, because there was a couple of things on the line. One, my life. You don't go to kill somebody without somebody else there. And if I didn't shoot the guy, well, then I get shot. Right. So Vinny Pizzuti actually told me, go ahead, kill him. You know, they don't say it like that. They say, you have to do what you have to do, Joe, to protect yourself. But you got to let me know right away so that this way I can protect you. I don't know what that meant, but
wow, they got a way of just talking without saying anything.
Yeah, I would have no choice, and I don't know if I was going to have to shoot him or not. Dominic didn't like him that much, and he did get the green light. I didn't know.
So it was Dominic's hit.
Yeah, Dominic did it, but he's I was supposed to be in on that.
Wow. Okay, so why $1 million?
Well, the $1 million contract was supposed to be more like on my head. They said there's $1 million contract on my head.
Oh, I see.
But I don't know if that's really true or not. You know. I don't
okay, so this murder, that's okay. I just got that wrong. Mm-hmm. So Dom wanted to kill this guy, Mikey the Nose, just because they had beef. They had problems.
Well, he got the okay. He was doing a lot of screwed up. And, even Dominic, I don't know all of the stuff he's done, but I know there was no love lost between them. But Mikey...
Was he with the money? Well,
he definitely tried to with Dominic's stuff, too. He just wasn't a team player. I think, to be honest with you, I think Vinny, because I had some talks with Vinny while we were locked up together. Vinny Gorgeous and I happened to have a couple of good conversations. I think Vinny put him in position there because I think he can control him better, But he should have listened to Dominic because Dominic and Vinny, they were close as anybody could be.
So Dom wanted to get Mikey the Nose killed. He went to Vinny to get the okay.
Yeah,
Vinny was the boss at the time.
He got the green light.
Okay. And why did it not go down?
Because I believe Mike got arrested before that happened. Yeah. And
did he go down? Did you do a bid off of that?
Mike was doing. Yeah, he was. I think he got arrested on the Randy Pizzolo murder, which he was in on, if I'm not mistaken.
Really? What was that murder about?
That was Randy Pizzolo was another guy who was kind of a wild card too, and I believe him and Ace whacked him together. Anthony Aiello was also very close with Dominic, and I think he got the green light to go on that as well.
So Mikey's the boss of the Bananas now.
Right now he is, yes.
So he got out?
He did. Yeah, he did. I think he did. Well, was it 15 years? I think he did 15 or some years like that, and he got out, and they made him the boss.
Wow, so he must not have been the trigger man then, if he could get out on a murder after 15.
I'm not sure how that went. Right. I mean, listen,
maybe he's telling.
Maybe he made it. Listen, maybe he made a deal. Maybe he took a plea. I don't know. I think he took the plea because Vinny told me, he says, if everybody fought the case, we'd all beat it, but I'm not sure.
So this is, right. And so Vinny went down at the same time.
Yeah, Vinny
for the same murder?
Vinny went down before all of them, yeah.
And so Vinny is locked up now doing life?
Yeah.
And that's why he's no longer the boss. Now Mikey is the acting boss. So how did Mikey...
He is the boss, not more acting.
He's the boss?
Yep.
On the street? He's
out.
The
boss, yep.
Where do the Bananas mostly operate? The Bronx?
Bronx. Yeah, Brooklyn. But he's from the Bronx.
So how did Mikey the Nose, who got the okay to get killed by Vinny, the boss then, how did he end up getting the job of the boss?
It's puzzling.
This is a crazy thing you guys lived through.
I know. It's a mystery to me because I don't think he got what it takes to be the boss. You see, Dominic was good as a captain. He was a good soldier, but he was actually better as a captain. For some reason, he just really excelled. Yeah. Mikey was the underboss for whatever reason. I guess because he was maybe been around no longer with the family or whatever. But he had a bad way about him. Not really like, you know. I mean, Dominic had told a story about Louis Electric was supposed to be made captain. Mikey was supposed to give the blessing or whatever, and he didn't even do that. And then Dominic got permission, so he was able to make him the captain. It's not how the family's supposed to run. He's not doing the right thing.
No. So you would say the Bananas now are pretty convoluted and up, or how would you rank them on strength and organization?
They've taken a pretty good hit again. They took a big hit when Donnie Brasco did that thing when, you know, Joe Pistone, but they've taken another big hit, and especially now with Mike doing what he's doing out there.
What's he doing?
That's the thing. It's not wasted. He's shelving people he shouldn't be shelving. There was that big fight with the Hells Angels and Joe Camarano and all this stuff. I mean, in Long Island over a funeral, and he's Mike. He used to kind of hang around with the Purple Gang. Purple Gang was a notorious gang. They were crazy. They started shooting each other when they couldn't find anybody else to shoot. And but he wasn't really like in with them, but he thought he was in with them, and so he boosted himself up more than anything else. But I guess he could take orders maybe from Vinny, and maybe that's why, like I said, I think he put him there for that reason.
So when Dominic came to you with this idea back in 2004 or 5, to kill Mike the Nose, did you go to the FBI?
I had to, because I was pretty sure that I was going to have to get rid of him.
Wow. So it was going to happen.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Wow.
No, he was gone.
And Dominic already had bodies on him, so it was nothing to do another one.
Oh, yeah, no. And then Dominic was going to organize it the way he wanted to. I mean,
how was it going to go down?
Well, there was a couple of things. Dominic, when we had talked about it, I thought it was going to be either me and him or me and Ace. But Dominic definitely was going to go in, and then he had another plan on getting him because he was fooling around with somebody else's wife that he shouldn't have been doing. See, there's rules.
But how was it going to happen? Give us some details here.
They were going to kidnap him.
Yeah.
Grab him.
Make him disappear?
Either they were going to make him disappear or just leave him somewhere. He was going to leave him. If Dominic and I would have did it, I think we were just going to shoot him and then leave him to wherever Dominic wanted to put him.
So then but Mike gets arrested. But you went, and did you use Dominic's name?
Well, I told him, that I was proposed for that. I told him that,
But that's getting your friend in trouble now.
Well, the only one I didn't know Dominic was really going to go with me until just recently we had talked about it. But I didn't know he was going to come with me. I thought he was just giving me the order because he was my captain. Right,
but that still implicates him in a murder. A life sentence.
It is.
Did that ever go any further?
No.
So Mike got arrested. They didn't even pursue that conspiracy.
That's correct.
I guess mob guys are always talking, and there's probably a lot of threats like, oh, this guy's got to go. So you can almost understand why sometimes the FBI just stops taking those threats seriously, unless they get elevated.
Depends on who's making the threat. Dominic was a serious gangster. He did it 100%. He was his own man still, but he was true to that life. I don't know what I was thinking in a lot of ways, but I was thinking more about myself, knowing that I was going to have to finally pull the trigger on somebody. But then there was a part of me that I think if I would have pulled the trigger, I wouldn't have told them really what happened, because I think I wanted to be in that life too. Right. Because I didn't like what I was doing. I didn't like talking to people and telling things. I didn't like it.
So did you kind of see this hit as your opportunity to get in finally, belong somewhere?
If I would have did it, then I would have been on all the way. And
because you're making money, you would have been straightened out probably.
Yeah, but I would have always had to worry about if anybody would have ever known that I gave information before I got straightened out.
Right.
And that still can get me killed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You see, like Mikey, when I think he was seeing some wise guy's girlfriend or something like that, and that's a no-no. Now, even in the Bible, they say never covet another man's wife. So I kind of like that law. You look at another guy's girlfriend, Yeah, she could be good looking and she could be all of this, but man, you really need to do that? Really? Are you that fucked up? I walked away from guys' wives plenty of times, and I never. So I like that law. I like that rule.
Well, I think that was to keep the lid on violence. That's why they make that rule,
right?
Because they know what's going to happen. Now somebody's got to go get killed.
Once you do that, yeah, you should get killed. I mean, really, and I think the girl should get killed too, because realistically, if you're not getting raped by the guy, you're just giving it to him. Who the hell are you? You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah. Well, there was in my town, there was a guy, Andrew, Chick Charlie, they used to call him. He was in the suburban end of the like the garbage business. Well, he got killed, and the girl that was his partner's friend, the girl was hanging out with the wise guys. They said, "Listen, we'll take care of you. Set him up for us." And she did. She set him up for him, but she died too because they didn't trust her either. Because
they shot her as well.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
Yep. The other guy, Chick, I used to go to school with his son, and they tied his mother and father upstairs, and when he came home, they tied him up, and it's a shame the mother and father, they heard him get shot and killed.
Oh my God.
Yep.
And that was the guy for sleeping with some guy's wife.
This was they just was taking over the suburban carting, not suburban carting, but the carting business he was involved in.
The what?
That was in the 70s back in I was probably about 1972.
Oh wow.
And I remember that because I was in school with his son.
Wow. That's when people get killed. Back when when murder was just out of control in New York City.
That was the heyday. Yeah, that was the heyday. That was 70s was everybody was on the take. Everybody was just
everybody did what they wanted to.
That's it.
Yeah.
Free
reign.
reign.
Mob did what they wanted to.
That's correct.
Yeah. No longer like that. It's probably a good thing.
To some degree, yeah. But you got to remember, they're in the stock business. They're in trading.
Yeah.
They're in real estate. They're in the unions still. They still got a lot of pull.
Yeah, they're making money. Yeah, for sure. They're still making money.
They're trying to do it where they don't get involved with too much of the law enforcement. That's all. They're sitting on some of them are barrels of money. Some of them are broke.
Right. Yeah, they're just not trying to be violent. Trying to keep a low pro.
Because it brings attention.
Of course. So, wow. Did Dom ever find out? I mean, I know you eventually told him, like, hey, I had to give your name when it came down to this murder conspiracy.
I won't lie to Dominic about anything anymore.
Was he pissed off?
When I talked to him, I don't think he was as pissed off as he was when he first heard that I cooperated.
Well, he cooperated too. So how mad can he really?
And that's what he said. Dominic is a realist person.
Yeah.
I've seen Dominic in all walks of life. I've seen him when he got angry. I've seen him when he was ruthless. I've seen him when he was a loving father. He was an excellent father. I wish I could be a father like him. That's how good he was. And as a true gangster, he was a true gangster. That's why I think I know he's at peace at what he did, but I know that he would have never, he would never be like he would have never done anything like that. Yeah. But that loyalty is a two-way street. I don't care what you sell.
But he would have killed you back then, before it all. If he found out, he would have been probably heartbroken about it.
I think he would have cared. I think he would have regretted it. I think he would have had feelings about that without a doubt, because I was close to him.
Right.
But he still had to do what he would have had to do.
Yeah.
Did
you mentioned in the YouTube episode, the free episode, that there were times where you got summoned where you thought I might not walk out of here. What were some of those times you remember? Did you have your gun on you? You didn't?
Nope, because
one of your 30 guns, and you didn't bring it to this meeting.
Yeah, because if I would have been seen with the gun, I think they would have, they might have got suspicious. Because don't forget, it's kind of hard to. I mostly carried 45 pistols, 357 Magnums. I like the bigger guns. I didn't like my Walter PPK that I had, because he used to hit me on the thumb.
Right.
So it was hard to conceal. And plus, you always want a bigger gun. I used to like to put the bigger hole in you. I used to carry 2 illegal bullets. One is the Hydra Shock bullet, which is, if you get shot with it, it puts a bigger hole in you. And the 45 is a slow bullet than a 9mm. And then I had, they're illegal. They're called Rhino bullets. They're armor piercing. So if you had a bulletproof vest on, it goes right through it.
Cop killers.
That's right. And so they were illegal. So I had a lot of those too.
Yeah.
Nice. But I got scared. There was a time I met him at his cousin's house, like he asked me to. Him and his dad came in.
This?
Dominic, his cousin Nancy. Okay. I met her at the house, and she said, "What's going on? Dominic told me you were coming here. Is everything okay?" And I says, "I don't know. He just told me to call and meet him here." And so I did. And then he was a little cold to me, and so was his father. And we got in the car, and they both got in the front seat. And I was like, okay. And then I looked in the back, and there was the baby seat in the back. And I said, is he going to kill me with the baby seat? But I still tried to play cool, And I was like, hey, what's up, guys? Everything all right? What's going on? He goes, you don't know what's going on, Joe? And now we're doing 80 miles an hour in a 35 miles an hour zone. And I was like, okay, if I jump, I still got a better chance. I know I'm going to get messed up because it's 80 miles an hour is 80 miles an hour. But I was still a little nervous. I was like, nah, I don't know. What's up? And then they made it fun, and they were laughing. They said, you don't know, hey, look, what's the matter, Joe? You thought you were going to get whacked. They both started laughing at me. I said, nah, are you kidding me? Meanwhile, I was scared. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
And we wound up going to Sue's Rendezvous strip joint. And we met like, I don't know, 5 or 6 guys up there. And
wow.
Yeah, we had a good time. It was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, you thought just from the way they call you in and act around you,
that's it.
That's enough to like get your radar up, get your flash warning signal up.
And don't forget, I'm the one knowing that I'm doing something wrong.
Of course. Right.
He don't know. I know.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm like, okay.
Why did they never ask you to wear a wire?
My information, my memory was so good. My names for places, faces, dates. I could memorize license plate numbers. I can memorize things.
But the wire is like the irrefutable, incontrovertible evidence,
and
right?
Yep. And I never would wear a wire even if they would have asked me to.
I wonder why that. Maybe you just didn't have enough. Maybe you weren't around high enough targets.
That's not true. Because Dominic never introduced me to anybody else but wise guys after a while. I was actually going to meet Vinny in the street. Dominic and I had some legitimate real estate deal going on. And so I was actually going to be really formally introduced to Vinny when I was going to give him his end of the money. And that's what it was going to happen. But I knew other big shots, other wise guys, you know what I mean?
Right.
I was friends with, friends. I knew Barney from the Genovese family because of my father.
Yeah.
He's the one who gave me the ding. He's one of the biggest guys out there right now.
Wow, he's still out there.
Oh, sure.
How old is he? My God.
Barney's a couple of years older than me. I'm 62, so he's probably 64, maybe 60.
Oh, is that it?
63. He's not much older than me.
Okay, so he was just a young guy when he was with your father.
Oh, sure. He was one of the youngest guys ever straightened out.
Oh, wow. And he's with the Genovese.
Yeah.
And they're still active.
And he's one of the real good guys. There was a story back in the days. My father did a score. Now, he wouldn't do drugs or anything like that no more because that's, but he did a score for like 65 grand. And so he went to Barney and he put 65,000 on the table. And so Barney said, what's this? And he says, I did something, on my own, and this is what I made. So he gave him all of it. He didn't give him just a piece of it. Wow. And he says, you did that on your own? And my father said, yes. He said, then that's your money. And he didn't take a dime.
Wow.
Well, Barney's a multimillionaire too. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's in tons of legitimate businesses. Yeah. And he's an action guy. He's always in the thing. He's always in the trenches. But that just goes to show you the level that he's at.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very well respected. He'd go anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
No problem.
Do the Genovese, they're known as like the strongest family now. Mm-hmm. Do they have like social clubs? Are there still neighborhoods in New York where mob guys get together to network and just kind of?
Oh yeah. It all depends. It depends on where it's not so obvious. They want to have the Ravenite Club like John had.
Yeah. Middle of Chinatown.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to have little places, maybe in a basement, someplace in a family home or something.
Right.
Or they could just go to a regular restaurant to eat. They'll know who's eating, and maybe they'll slip a newspaper to them with some money in it or something like that. These guys will always have. Law enforcement will develop ways to infiltrate, and they'll always develop ways to get around it. Look, we used to go over our car. The guy had the thing to detect if there was a bug in it. We had all that stuff back in those days. Sure.
Wow. So hold on, like somebody could take like a bug. We call that
a device,
like a metal wand.
Yeah,
and you go through your car.
Device. Yep.
Wow.
We used to have that done once a week.
Wow. So that's real. That's not like Tony Soprano myth.
Nope. That's true.
Wow.
See, John actually thought he was safe. He did make one mistake. He shouldn't have talked about any murders anymore.
No,
he did fuck up there. Yeah, because leave it alone. The dead is the dead, and that leave it dead.
Yeah.
But he actually thought he was safe when he was talking other business. If he did other business, it would have been one thing, but he wouldn't have got probably the life sentence that he got. And then it was, a lot of people said he took down the mob and stuff. You know what I thought? I think he thought, fuck it. I'm going to die one way or another. I'm going to jail or I'm going to spend the rest of my life in there. Let me dress up. Who gives a shit? You know, because don't forget, there was a hit out on him for whacking Paul.
Yeah.
So, you know, he probably said, who cares? I mean, he was making, so reportedly, what they say is $12 million a year. So they're not broke, but who really knows? You know, I, mean, I don't know. I can't speak for him.
12 million. I thought it would be more than that.
You know,
well, Franzese had the gold standard. He had like the #1 racket in mob history, right? Doing $8 million a week. What else? I still don't understand that. It's a gas tax. So he was selling stolen gasoline.
You're not paying the tax. So that's what he's doing.
So he's selling stolen gasoline to gas stations.
He was underbidding it all because he had all the gas, and then they didn't have to pay taxes on it. Look at all the taxes. Where do you think these people get all this money? Why do you think they're charging us up the wazoo for taxes?
Of course.
Because that's why you think the government's so rich. Why are we giving so much money to Ukraine and all these other places that don't give a shit about us?
Where was he getting the gas from?
That I don't know. I didn't know. I haven't talked to him.
That is fascinating.
Well, look at the connections he had. He had the connection with the Russian mafia, too.
Yeah.
And don't forget, too, he had other connections to open up all these gas stations and locations. He had connections with motor vehicles, with real estate office. I mean, look, he was a sharp guy.
Shrewd.
He's still shrewd. I mean, I guess people probably ask him, what'd you do with all that money? When you're making that kind of money, you spend just as fast as you make.
Was he a star back then? Like when you were running around, like before your dad passed, those 80s days, was he like, you know, a star in the mob? You've heard of underneath G.O.A.T, obviously.
You've heard of him, but you heard more of his father, Sonny. Sonny Franzese was the real main guy. I mean, he was the man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His father was there was no bullshit.
He was Colombo.
Yeah, Colombo family.
And what was his deal? He was a gangster.
Oh yeah, he was a real gangster. No, he was the real deal.
I got a question.
Sure.
Okay.
Do you remember when it was, because Franzese's father killed his brother, right?
Yes, so supposedly, yeah.
When that happened and what that was like?
There was rumors of, that was like that he killed his own brother was like one of the biggest things that ever happened, because that just goes to show you that's not your real fan. They don't care. I never know the whole story to it or what's really behind that, but that's big.
Do we know what the speculation is? Why he killed his own brother?
Nope.
God damn, that is some Godfather 2.
That's bad. That takes a certain individual that I can't fathom that myself.
Yeah.
So that takes a certain kind of individual. That's why he is who he was. And in reality, he should have been the boss of the Colombo family, Sonny. To be honest with you, because
that's what Mike says a lot.
Well, yeah, because Carmine the Snake Persico got his name the Snake because he was a snake. He had that problem with back in the days with Crazy Joe Gallo and all of that shit. And he was, he was not a punk or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he was a fighter for being a small guy. But in reality, I think there might have been concern that they were going to take over the family because let's face it, he was smart.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did any work in the street. It's none of my business.
Probably not, right? Doesn't seem like he was a college kid.
Well, that's what they tried to say. He was like a yuppie guy, and he hated that, but I don't blame him because he was clean cut and everything. But his father was the guy that should have been the boss.
Yeah.
That's a real, just like they used to say Neil Delacroix should have been the boss instead of Paul. But you see, you try, these people that are older and they try to keep the things more, and as you get older, you kind of get a little softer. You don't do the same things you do when you're 20,
right? When
you're 30, and you don't do the same things at 40 when you were 30.
Yeah.
You think differently. Things change.
Yeah.
You get older.
So that kind of money that he was bringing in, they start to get scared because that kind of that money buys power. It
buys anybody.
Yeah.
Like I told you, you won't sell out for $1 million, but when somebody offers you $5, there's a question mark. You know what I'm saying? So this is how it goes. I don't know if I'd sell out for $1 million, but I might sell out for $5. I don't know. Depending on what it is, what they're asking you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be anything.